I would say, first and foremost, it's important to understand what's happening in the industry today. There are a few key trends that are playing out, which have a direct influence on how alternative payment methods are bringing about that transformation, right? So first and foremost, uh, post the pandemic, there has been an explosion of online sales. You know, whether you're buying a product or a service, people are reaching out to their mobile phones, their laptops to procure those services. Clearly, that's creating a huge shift in terms of the way the services are being rendered. Whether you're a B2C organization or a B2B organization, no one is spared, and that's where it's become absolutely critical for organizations to keep this shift in mind and look at that. To add to that, the fact that in this era of instant gratification, it's all about whether you're booking a flight, ordering your food, you're subscribing for movies over Netflix. Consumers expect the service to be rendered instantaneously. And I would say the expectations and the experience or the convenience they expect is no different when it comes to payments. They expect the same experience even when it comes to payments as well, right? And the third key trend is the rise of platform and gig economies. What that is really doing is, when you look at the technology giants, whether it is Amazon, Uber, Airbnb, uh, you know they're clearly getting buyers and sellers together. Or if it's a gig economy, you've got many of these part-time workers who uh, you know uh, earn a lot lesser than what you would earn as a full-time employee, and that's the reason they expect payments to them to be made on demand and also a lot faster, right? So on account of all these trends, what's really happening is we are seeing a huge shift in the way corporates are looking at the whole payment space. And that's where I would say the entry of and the rise of alternative payment methods is creating that shift. And again, it's very important at this stage to also uh, define what do we mean by alternative payment methods. We are talking about all the non-card based payment options, because traditionally when you think of online commerce as a consumer, what would you do? The first thing you would do is, if you're ordering something on Amazon, that you would reach out to your wallet for your credit card, because you need to key in your card details, your CVV, and make the payment. But thanks to the rise of instant payments, real-time payments, QR payment options, mobile wallets, and of course the latest fad, buy now pay later. There are just so many more options that consumers have today when it comes to making an online payment. So what that's really doing is, from a corporate or a treasury standpoint, it presents a lot of opportunities for treasurers to look at the whole digital transformation, within the organization. And when you talk about digital transformation, it's not just about presenting an online portal to your customers, but also the whole end-to-end value chain. And there are several key drivers as to why corporates are embracing these alternative payment methods today. Uh, First and foremost, these payment options are a lot more cost effective, faster and secure. If you look at the amount of cost traditionally these corporates have been incurring when it comes to acceptance of credit cards, they can save on a significant amount of interchange fees, and also there are lesser headaches in terms of the chargeback risk, etc. And the finality of transactions is greater. Also, they get instant visibility of the transactions. They can manage their cash flows and liquidity a lot better. And last but not the least, it also helps them automate their reconciliation and also manage it a lot faster. Traditionally, when you thought of receivables reconciliation, it would take several weeks or days. And now with instant payments, they can do it within a few seconds. So I would say it's a win-win for both the consumers, the intermediaries, and the merchants, which is where we are seeing, APMs or alternative payment methods getting a lot popular with merchants and organizations these days. We have got real-time payments in almost 56 countries. from where things started. That's just still only 1/3 the number of markets today. But with that said, things are evolving very fast. Central banks are playing an active role. If you look at what's happening across Asia in terms of deploying the fast payment rails and then quickly following through with the overlay services in terms of the QR scan and pay option, request to pay, etc. But having said that, again, it's a varied experience. There's some countries, like Singapore, Hong Kong, India, which I would say are ahead of the curve, and there are many others that are catching up. Even from the central bank perspective, I would say it's a great way to drive financial inclusion, eliminate cash in the economy, and reduce the risk involved with physical cash floating around. So that's where we are seeing a lot of action by both central banks and clearinghouses taking these real-time payments to the next level and bring them to the masses. On one hand, we are seeing the pace of change is so fast in the industry, but the question is, are organizations really ready to move at that speed? The answer is clearly no. And the reason I say that is because it's not a one size fits all. What we have seen working with many of our clients, both multinational corporates and domestic corporates, is there are some clients who, especially the digital natives who invested in these technologies early on, who have an upper hand. They were relatively more future-proof. But there are many other bulk of the organizations are, I would say, still in catch-up mode, because with the pandemic, everything happened so suddenly overnight. Things went into a lockdown. Companies have been thinking of setting up their online portals, but they have not yet been there. And there are many others who are still in a very traditional, kind of brick and mortar kind of setup. So I would say it varies from client to client, depending upon where you are in that overall journey. Having said that, what we are also witnessing is organizations are gradually realizing that they may have done a few things from a digitization perspective in pockets within the organization. But when you're talking about digitalization more holistically, it's about that whole end-to-end journey. From the point you engage with your customer, the touch point with your customer, till the order fulfillment. And that's where I would say a lot of the building blocks are not yet there. And also in some cases, they have done things in one country, but as they're now trying to expand into more markets, they are facing the challenges of having to deal with multiple service providers, a very fragmented payment landscape, etc. So what are we doing? So Standard Chartered has been, I would say, at the forefront of working very closely with our corporate clients in helping them maneuver through this, challenging times. And the way we have done that is, I would say, by acting as the connector bank. And I'll explain what we mean by that. So if you look around today, there are, several players out there. You've got, different types of fintech providers. You've got banks, etc. And that itself is creating a bit of a challenge for organizations. So organizations like the agility of fintechs, some of the technologies that they bring to the table, but they're still, I would say, in many cases traditional, and they are not sure of the kind of risks associated of working with fintechs. So we play the role of an intermediary out there, where we have, through our solution Straight to Bank Pay, which is our omni-channel collections gateway, established partnerships with some of the leading payment service providers and fintechs globally to craft a solution whereby our clients do not have to worry about trying to understand all about these payment options, who the players are out there. We act basically as a one-stop shop, giving them that opportunity of connecting to us through a single API and helping them present all these different payment options to their end consumers. So whether it is, the traditional credit card based options or some of the new age based alternative payment methods, you talk about instant payments, wallets, QR options, they just work with us as their one-stop shop, and that truly simplifies and harmonizes a lot of things for them, because it doesn't matter whether you're in Singapore or you're now stepping into Malaysia, or tomorrow you want to get into Kenya or Middle East. You have a single standardized way of consuming the services, and that also brings significant upsides in terms of the cash visibility, the reporting, the seamless reconciliation, etc. We are seeing instant payments and alternative payment methods playing out in a few different ways. A lot of that, I would say, started with peer-to-peer payments, but clearly that's changing fast with a lot of other use cases opening up in the industry, be it business to consumer, business to business, etc. I would say from a Standard Chartered perspective, we have been working closely with our clients to embed these payment options in their business. And I can talk about a few specific examples where we've made that happen. One of that being a leading multinational logistics provider, where we worked very closely with them to co-create the digital collection solution to help them collect their customs duties through their online portal. And also, in addition to that, we have helped them digitize their in-store collections and also the last mile collections, and all of that through a combination of payment options, not limited to just credit cards, but to the right payment mix in terms of instant payments, QR, scan and pay options, etc. So we've helped this client of ours leverage the QR technology to digitize their over-the-counter collections. We also seamlessly integrated with the handheld devices of their delivery agents to help them collect using QR codes across multiple markets. So clearly, this is one example of how we see corporates leverage, these payment options. One other example I can think of is of a leading retailer in Singapore who's leveraging, the PayNow technology to digitize their store collection. So traditionally, this retailer was, collecting over-the-counter payments through cash and credit cards. We have integrated, our solution with their POS terminal to now allow the same POS terminal to generate a QR code, which can be scanned by the consumer at the till and make a payment in real time. So I would say, these are some great examples of how we have worked closely with our clients, understanding what their pain points are, looking at that process end to end, and then help them embrace these new technologies and drive efficiencies in their business model. A lot of what we are seeing in terms of digital innovation, I would say, in the payment space did start with mobile money, mobile wallets. Clearly, Africa was the epicenter. I think we all know the story of M-Pesa. And to a great extent, also, the revolution we have seen in China with the likes of Alipay, WeChat Pay, etc. But having said that, over time, what's interesting to note is, this whole space has, transformed hugely because, on one hand, we are seeing, if you just look at the mobile money space, what's happening is, we are looking at interoperability between the various mobile money schemes in several markets. Because earlier, if you were, having a wallet with, say, one provider, it was not that easy to move money from your wallet to, say, your friend who's having a wallet with some other provider. So that's changing very fast. So we are seeing interoperability coming to the space in many of these mobile money ecosystems. Even when you talk about what's happening in the instant payment space, we are seeing central banks stepping in to create interoperability between different real-time payment schemes, and we have seen that happen with the recent announcement between PayNow and in Singapore and UPI in India, where you can move money from using PayNow to to a beneficiary in India using UPI, and also with several other payment schemes, whether it is between PayNow and Do It Now in Malaysia, or PromptPay in Thailand, and PayNow, etc. So clearly, I would say the game changer is going to be the cross-border real-time payments. I would say that's definitely happening. We have already seen the developments, and a lot more can be expected in the coming years in that space. And also, we are seeing a lot of interesting developments with central bank digital currencies. So I would say there's a lot happening out there as well. So we would we would say wait and watch to see how things pan out, and how some of these things would clearly influence the way we design the solutions for our clients to drive efficiencies in their organizations.